Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming. We don't exactly know when though. Some rumors suggest 2023, while others point towards even further in the future. Hell with the news that Grand Theft Auto 5 is getting a remaster, or is that a remaster on the PlayStation 5 this fall, everything we thought we knew might just be a complete lie. Hooray. Still, we've made plenty of videos speculating over when Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out, and the biggest, most asked question after when is it coming has to be, where is it going to be set? It's an understandable question as well, because if you think about it, a Grand Theft Auto is arguably only as good as its setting. I mean, would Vice City be as memorable without its fictional take on an 80s version of Miami? Or would GTA 5's sun-kissed Los Santos be as farcical as it was without being set where it is? The answer to both is a resounding no. At this point, GTA cities have become iconic in and of themselves, and there's a reason that the past few installments have only continued to reimagine and revisit older locations rather than venture to new places. With all that in mind then, I think I might have cracked the perfect setting for the next GTA game. All the GTA settings in one game. Let me explain. Currently, the most popular assumption is that the next Grand Theft Auto is going to be set in Vice City. Not only do some rumors that have been doing the rounds for years suggest that is the case, but it also makes sense because it's the next setting in line to get reimagined. So far, every major installment since the PlayStation 2 games has revisited locations from that era, rather than doing something completely new. GTA 4 returned to Vice City, GTA 5 returned to San Andreas, leaving Vice City the only PS2 era game without a HD modern upgrade. More so than that though, Vice City just has way more potential to change, tweak, and surprise players with new things in a modern update of it. As previously mentioned, the PS2 game was set in the 80s, with everything from the cars to the fashion to the music indulging in that period of time. With this game, it wasn't just the where that was important, it was the when as well. Consequently, there's just so much scope for the devs when it comes to transforming this location and updating it into the modern day. Fans would be poring over the comparisons, which stores had been left untouched, which areas gentrified, how the personality of the entire place had been altered over the years. It's a specific element of intrigue that a brand new setting simply wouldn't have. Vice City has history, and playing into that history offers so many tantalizing possibilities. With such a desire from fans to see it then, and so many creative ways for the developers to update it, it would practically be the equivalent of Rockstar missing an open goal in the World Cup final if they chose to ignore Vice City entirely going into the next game. That said though, after such a long wait between Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 6, and presumably between Grand Theft Auto 6 and Grand Theft Auto 7, a new and updated version of Vice City wouldn't be enough. It would need to be part of something bigger. Though rumors can't be believed entirely, one that was doing the rounds suggests that Rockstar is going more ambitious than ever when it comes to creating the map for the next Grand Theft Auto. The idea being floated isn't that they're just going to deliver one new city, but that they're going to create a series of interconnected cities and deliver us the biggest and most diverse GTA map ever made. But while that might not be true and might not be at all what they actually are working on, it's not a bad idea. Over the past generation especially, we have seen a bunch of open world games try to mimic Rockstar's once unique design ethos. Titles like Just Cause pride themselves in having the biggest open worlds on the market, even though there's often not that much to do in them, while publishers like Sony and CD Projekt Red can create lifelike and realistic worlds with such detail that rival anything that Rockstar can put out. Consequently, after so many years sitting on the bench and so many other studios catching up to them, Rockstar need to come out swinging with something we haven't seen done before. They need to prove why GTA is an industry leader when it comes to how we think of open world games and how open world games are actually made. And nothing screams that more than having a bunch of different cities, each as big and as detailed and as lifelike as the other, being interconnected in one massive title. Even better, they could use this idea as a platform to create the ultimate Grand Theft Auto experience and deliver a game that has the foundation strong enough to last for 10 plus years. And when it comes to which cities you could include, it makes sense to have Los Santos, Vice City, and Liberty City, or at least parts of them, all together again. Vice City, as mentioned, would round off the idea of updating all the PlayStation 2 iconic settings, and alongside those other two locations, could act in general as kind of an exclamation point on this entire era of GTA. Speaking of the other two cities, even though they're both generations old at this point, they both still genuinely hold up, as evidenced by Grand Theft Auto 5 coming across to PlayStation 5. Including these, perhaps wholesale in the case of GTA 5, could ease development and allow the devs to tackle this ambitious project without it becoming overwhelming. And look, this might sound mad and far too much work, but the weird thing is, it's not entirely without precedent. For instance, Red Dead Redemption 2 featured the majority of the original game's map completely redone for the sequel. And here, only a fraction of that space was used in a fraction of the story, with the rest of it being mainly used in Red Dead Redemption Online. With that experiment out the way, then Rockstar could double down on this idea in Grand Theft Auto 6, bringing these interconnected past cities together and making the use of all of that space in both the narrative and the online suite, because of course, there's going to be an online suite. Now, I might be pushing my luck at this point, you know, with demanding that 3 iconic cities be released in one overall game and whatnot, but I want to push things one step further. Not only would it be awesome if Rockstar pooled all these different maps together, but it would be even better if we got to play in them during different time periods and watched things like the environment or the buildings change as we went through the story. You could have this epic narrative that jumped through decades and the world would change as a result of it. Now, this is based off another rumor that was doing the rounds a few years ago, which said that in the story you would be playing through the entire career of a criminal and watching as the story unfolded and the narrative went through these different time periods and how the world would change to your actions. And it's not something that's entirely unique, as Mafia 2 and Red Dead Redemption 2, just off the top of my head, both featured stories with time jumps similar to this that showed you how the world changed in response. However, this would be something almost entirely new to this series. GTA has captured a bunch of different distinct time periods before, whether it was Vice City or San Andreas, but never all of them at the same time in the same game. And this again could link into the idea of the next game being the GTA for a whole new generation, acting as kind of a greatest hits rundown before jumping into something entirely new afterwards. It could also allow the developers to explore how these settings have changed over time and make the worlds in general just feel that bit more lifelike. And again, this was another thing experimented with in Red Dead Redemption 2. As the years went by in that story, you would see things like building constructions being finished, and in general the landscape would change and alter in small but admittedly very meaningful ways. That was already great, but the next-gen equivalent of that is even more tantalizing. And in general, a play space of this size is kind of essential if Rockstar want to have the same longevity that GTA 5 has had. And yeah, that title is still going strong 7 years after it launched, and that only had the one map, but let's not pretend that GTA Online was anything other than a total fluke. Nobody could have anticipated just how big that thing was going to be, and admittedly the devs have done a great job at responding to that popularity and supporting this platform with a lot of great content. That said though, there's no denying that now the map itself feels a little bit stale. It hasn't radically changed as the years have gone on, and new areas often seem bolted on, relegated to specific modes, and not integrated as part of the overall sandbox. This time around though, GTA Online's updates could radically alter the map and activities depending on the theme being built from the ground up to support this longevity from the off. Listen, I don't really want GTA to become this games as service thing, but that is the future, and if they are going to do it, having this huge map that accommodates all of these players and is built to evolve as time goes on would go a long way in making that idea a little bit more palatable. Also, while you might be inclined to say, well, GTA 5 is doing just fine, it still makes billions and billions of dollars, that is true, but by the time GTA 6 comes around, GTA 5's map will be 2 generations old. You can't just repeat the same trick again and expect people to respond in the same way. They can't deliver the same thing again, and this interconnected cities idea would be a proper next-generation leap for the whole franchise. Likewise, whether intentional or not, with such a long wait between GTA 5 and GTA 6, players have built up radical, ridiculous expectations of what the next game is going to be already in their heads. The extended time between installments needs to be justified in one way or another, and this ambitious idea could go a long way in explaining why this next game has taken so long to be made. Also, if there's going to be another long wait after GTA 6 launches for GTA 7, having these maps to play with could make it easy for Rockstar to plug that gap with remasters of iconic titles. Over the past few months, there have been rumors doing the rounds that Red Dead Redemption 1 is going to get the full remaster treatment, and in a way it just kind of seems like a no-brainer, right? I mean, the developers have already put in the work to develop the original's map and redesign it for the second game, so why not just go the extra mile and make a full remake or remaster and then release it separately? Some of the hard work is already done. If they do, then the same principle could apply to GTA 6 if Rockstar do indeed decide to revisit and interconnect these iconic locations. While everyone waits for GTA 7, we could have remasters of those PlayStation 2 era games. And for better or worse, the developers have often said that GTA in general is inherently tied to American culture, so while I would like to see it venture to London or beyond, its identity is intrinsically linked with the cities it's already created. Ultimately then, by going down the route that I've laid out here, Rockstar could create the ultimate GTA for the next generation. It could lean on its history while still delivering something ambitious the franchise hasn't seen before, leading to huge possibilities for both single and multiplayer, and elevating what players expect from the subgenre in general. Is it too much work? Probably, but it's an idea that is based on what the developers have done before. They've already experimented with and laid the foundations for some of these ideas in previous games, and this would only build on them for a proper next-gen experience. The precedent has been set, there's no denying that, it's just whether or not Rockstar want to follow through on it. So that's my opinion on where I think Rockstar need to take GTA with the next installment. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think this ambitious idea is too mad, or would you actually like to see some of the past maps come back and allow you to flick between each one? Either way, while you're down there, could you give us a like, share, subscribe, and head over to WhatCulture.com for more lists and news like this every single day. Even if you don't though, I've been Josh, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.